The situation is escalating by the hour. This is no longer a routine political dispute. What we are witnessing now is a direct and unprecedented confrontation. Elon Musk has effectively slammed the emergency brakes on the European Union. In a move that sent shockwaves through Brussels, Musk blocked the European Commission's official advertising account on X. With one decision, the EU's paid messaging pipeline on the platform was cut off. No warnings, no negotiations, just silence. But that was only the opening move. Moments later, Musk addressed the world directly. In front of hundreds of millions of users, he typed a sentence that instantly ignited global controversy. Let's sack the EU. This was not sarcasm. It was not a joke. There was no ambiguity. It was a deliberate challenge to the authority and legitimacy of the European Union itself. The reaction in Brussels was immediate and chaotic. What followed has been described by analysts as a political and institutional shockwave. A massive bureaucracy, long accustomed to control, suddenly found itself facing an opponent it could not intimidate or silence. And this moment matters, because it exposes something deeper. So how did we get here? The trigger was surprisingly simple. Musk blocked the European Commission's advertising account on X. No ads, no spending, no narrative amplification. Why? Because the Commission posted an official ad that appeared to promote a harmless video, but quietly redirected users to an EU website. Critics argue it was a deceptive tactic, designed to inflate reach while bypassing platform rules. The irony is difficult to ignore. According to multiple reports, this same type of behavior was previously used to justify major fines against Musk's platform. In other words, the EU allegedly did exactly what it accuses others of doing. That accusation sparked outrage. Musk's response was blunt and uncompromising. From his perspective, rules were broken. Influence was abused. And the consequence was simple: account closed. No bureaucratic delay. No legal theater. Just enforcement. Inside Brussels, the mood reportedly shifted overnight, from confidence to panic. For the first time, the Commission faced open defiance from someone powerful enough not to fear retaliation. And then others joined in. Geert Wilders, fresh off a major electoral victory in the Netherlands, entered the debate with extraordinary language. He accused the European Commission of being unelected, authoritarian, and hostile to free expression. His words resonated far beyond national borders. Because the uncomfortable question resurfaced. Who actually elected the European Commission? No citizen votes directly for its leadership. Its power flows through appointments, negotiations, and internal agreements, far removed from public ballots. Yet this unelected body issues rules that override national laws, shape speech, and impose penalties worth hundreds of millions. Supporters call it governance. Critics call it control. As pressure mounted, pro-EU voices turned to a familiar strategy: fear. New narratives began circulating. Claims that opposition to EU bureaucracy was part of a broader foreign-backed effort to destabilize Europe. The message was clear: if you criticize the system, you must be aligned with hostile forces. No nuance, no debate. But Europe is not the European Union. And many argue that questioning bureaucratic power is not an attack on democracy. It is an essential part of it. This tension reaches its sharpest point at the very top. Ursula von der Leyen has publicly compared disinformation to a virus, something society must be immunized against. Critics warn this language matters. Because once authorities claim the power to define truth, they also claim the power to suppress dissent, even before it is spoken. That raises a dangerous question: who decides what is misinformation? In this case, the answer is the same institution now accused of running misleading campaigns itself. Observers argue this is not accidental. It is strategic. Control information today, and you shape thought tomorrow. That is why Musk's move is being interpreted by supporters as more than a business decision. To them, it is a line drawn in the sand, a refusal to comply with a system they see as increasingly centralized and coercive. Musk did not use force. He did not mobilize ideology. He used platform rules and transparency. To free speech advocates, X now represents one of the last major spaces resisting institutional narrative control, and that is precisely why it has become a target. The EU's response has escalated. Officials are now threatening massive fines under digital regulation laws, penalties that could reach hundreds of millions of euros. But critics argue those laws are vague by design. What is labeled illegal content today could easily become political opinion tomorrow. Musk's reply was uncompromising: abolish the system. He reflects a growing belief that the EU has evolved into a bureaucratic entity focused more on control than citizens' consent. Even across the Atlantic, political alignment is shifting. Figures like Donald Trump have openly questioned Europe's institutional direction, signaling a fracture in long-standing alliances. European officials have responded with insults, not arguments. But the public mood is changing. People are beginning to ask whether authority without direct legitimacy deserves obedience. Musk has thrown the first stone, and now a question hangs over Europe, one that cannot be avoided. Who owns your voice? You or the state? The answer will shape Europe's future.